How's it going, guys? It's Kevin from SubiSpeed. We are finally getting back to the airlift install on our STI. We kind of got sidetracked with trying to make our WRX sound like the STI with the Tomei unequal length headers. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it up above. But today we are going to take a look at how I have everything wired up, where I routed the harness, and what our trunk setup looks like. If you're interested in the installation of the struts and how I have the airlines routed, you can see that in the part 1 install. Link that up above as well. Airlift makes this pretty simple. You've just got one long harness that you need to route and wire up. Obviously the end with the connector that connects to the manifold goes towards the rear in the trunk, and then the end with the battery leads goes towards the battery in the front. So we're gonna start in the front. I'm gonna show you guys how I got the leads from the interior to the battery, and then we'll work our way back. So inside the car on the driver's side, I've ripped out all of the trim that goes along the doors here. So the door sill trim, the kick panel, B-pillar, and I've removed the bottom of the rear seat. And this is going to allow us to tuck the harness underneath the carpet and run it from the front of the car to the back. Now for the front, we're essentially going to follow the hood latch cable from underneath the dash to the front of the car. And the best way to do that is if you take a look inside your wheel well, behind the fender liner, you're gonna see a large grommet where the hood latch cable and a larger harness comes out. And this is what we're gonna use to get the harness from the inside of the car to the outside. So what I did was poked a hole through here, making sure it's large enough for those battery leads. I used an extra piece of wire I had laying around, routed that back inside the car, tied it and taped it to the battery leads and pulled that through. Then if we go to the engine bay, you'll see that I've removed this trim piece here, which allows us to see exactly where that hood latch cable goes down here. But instead of following it over the top of this frame here, we're gonna go underneath to the battery terminals. Back inside the car, you can see I've got the pink wire here. This is going to be your power source for your controller. So I've got it routed to the fuse box here, and you need to find a switched ignition source. So something that turns on when you have the key in the on position and stays on while you're turning the car over. I use the ECU fuse, which is fuse location number 12. Just got an added fuse on there. And then the other cable with the USB connection on the other end is for your controller. So you just need to route this wherever you want your controller to be inside the car. And as you can see, I've got the trim pulled out and the harness routed underneath the carpet all the way back. In the back of the car, this is our trunk setup. It's a pretty typical setup. You've got the tank in the middle there with the manifold in front of it. That keeps all the airlines and the harness connector entry points all in one place. You've got the compressor on the side here. Some people run 2 compressors, one on each side. And then I have the liner on the driver's side removed here to show you where I have some stuff mounted. I've got the filter here, relay, and the purge valve just in case we need it. All this stuff is mounted on a piece of plywood that I cut to the shape of the trunk to keep everything in place. And I just laid the OEM mat on top. So basically all I have left to do is tidy up some of the wiring, get this wood chip stuff cleaned up, get the liner reinstalled, and we're set. Once you have everything installed, you can start the car up, run through the calibration, make sure there are no clearance issues or leaks, and if nothing comes up, you are good to go. I just need to get everything clean and tidied up in here, get the car aligned, and hopefully we're able to get the car out, go air out, and do a showcase video. This was my first time installing air suspension on any car, and honestly, it was a fun experience. Airlift's Performance made this super easy. They've got installation manuals for everything, so they're a great point of reference if you have any questions. And that pretty much covers it, guys. If you have any questions or recommendations for new videos, leave them in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.